catch a break because as soon as I go off air, tornado warning in Colombia. I don't even know how that happened. Radar looks terrible. But I guess that one area of rotation we were looking at finally got its act together. And honestly, there's another area behind it that could do the same thing. And so these don't look all that great. Um, there's another tornado now up in up in that system we were just looking at. So all of a sudden, there's now an observed tornado on the ground moving towards Carthage, and then there's another one apparently on the ground near Columbia. The one near Columbia in Marion County has probably already lifted. So that one was a quick spin up tornado. We already have saw that one. So we're dealing with two tornadoes right now. I'm sorry, I'm running multiple lines of code right now. I gotta fix some things. Give me 2 seconds. Was not expecting to go back on. Nope, that's not what I need. Sorry, was not expecting to go back online so quick. Where in the world is this at? Let's see, there we go. Okay, we're back. We've got multiple tornado warnings. Okay. Let's see. I should not have said anything, As soon as you say something, it happens. Gotta love it. So yeah, two tornado warnings right now. Sorry. Having to post this real quick. Okay. Yep, sorry that was quick. Can't believe I want to go to sleep and then, all of a sudden we just have two tornado warnings now. Yep, two tornado warnings. Both of them are observed. So two tornado warnings on the ground all of a sudden out of nowhere. Yeah, that storm really did ramp up pretty fast actually, and that's one of the issues we're going to see today. So two tornado warnings currently. Both of them are observed. Maybe doesn't mean that there's a tornado on the ground anymore. However, it means there was a tornado on the ground at some point. If we go back a little bit there, you can see the debris signature with the cell that this hit. Let's see where this hit. Let's take a look and see where this hit. This tornado hit right near Noxo. Right to the west of Carto. Looks like it hit right over Fordsville Road, moved up to the north over Noxo, and then looks like it dissipated, or it had the most damage as it crossed Pushapatapa Road. And so that is where that tornado hit. It then looks like it dissipated before it crossed Highway 98 in near Columbia, between Tylertown and Columbia. Looking off to the north, this other tornado that was just briefly on the ground. It looks like they said that there was a debris signature. There was. This was near the community of Revive on Highway 43. It looks like that's where this tornado hit, was on Highway 43. It looks like it crossed over. Well, let's see what roads this is. It looks like it crossed over Forest Grove Road and then dissipated before it crossed over Red Dog Road again. So two brief tornadoes this morning. One in Leake County, one in Marion County already. And so I was shocked by that. I thought we were not going to see any tornado development. And unfortunately, that's what you see with these quick spin up tornadoes, is sometimes they make no meteorological sense half the time. But it is what happens. And so, like I said, two tornado warnings currently right now for Marion County. Columbia is in this. we can give you a timing on this, but honestly, I don't know if it's going to be really worth it. Um, we'll look at this rotation, or give me 2 seconds. We'll look at this area of rotation here in a second, but I'll move it off to the north. Columbia, this will be over you in by 6:53. This will be over you in the next 10 minutes. If we're going to be real, Summerall, 7:24 is when this is moving. Let me change some settings on this because this is moving fairly slow. Or it says it's moving pretty slow. All right. Yeah, Columbia, 6:50. This will be over you. Summerall, 7:15. Seminary, 7:25. Now, I am personally not worried about this spinning up too quickly again. But I guess the chance is there for sure because this storm is looking fairly tornadic. It has good dew points, good temperatures. So we'll see if this storm can spin up another tornado. Now, this one up here towards Carthage, this is crossing over St. Anne, the community of St. Anne right now. It spun up a brief tornado really quickly. It looks like the outflow of this storm has weakened once again. But this cell could maybe produce another tornado really quickly. But overall, I'm not really seeing anything since that tornado dissipated after it crossed over Highway 43, it looks like. So yes, a brief tornado with that cell. Why is this not working? What in the world is going on? Oh, I started up the wrong script. That is why. There we go. Oh, there's another tornado warning. Am I missing something? Why does it say there's 3? Oh, there was 3. Sorry. A tornado warning got split in half down here in Columbia. So yeah, I'm more worried about this Columbia storm. Still seeing some debris fall out over the community of Homage. I don't think there's a tornado on the ground though, but it just looks like some debris is falling out of the sky there still. 2 small tornadoes, one in Marion County, one in Leake County. So we just talked about where those were. Going to continue to give you timings on these. Very possible that there's nothing on the ground still. Actually, I'm fairly certain there's nothing on the ground with these systems still. But we'll give you a time for when this will move into your area, just in case. This tornado warning is now included Jeff Davis and Lamar counties, even though this tornado has definitely lifted by now. But if I give you some timing on this, Columbia, 6:49, this will be over you. So in 6 minutes, I would be in a safe spot if you're in Columbia. This will head up towards Summerall by 7:14. This is moving off to the northeast, moving over Highway 40 or over Highway 98 right now. This will be over the community of Harmony and the community of Emmanuel in the next 10 minutes. This will continue moving off towards Good Hope, towards New Union, towards Improv, and towards Hopewell. This is honestly a fairly strong area of rotation. It's not very tight, but I could see this spinning up another tornado fairly quickly. If I'm going to be honest, it is observed, but that was from several minutes ago. Looking back at this storm up here towards Carthage now. Sorry, having to go back and forth between 2 different warnings. This cell up near Carthage honestly does not look as impressive. It looks as if the tornado that hit up here was also weaker, which is a good sign. But I'm not seeing anything really pointing out with this cell up here. Yeah, I mean, the cell looked a lot better a few minutes ago. It's looking way weaker now. I need to be able to go back a little farther. Sorry, I got to change the setting real quick. Not sure how to change that. Okay, not sure how to fix that. It's fine for now. Yeah, you can see how the velocity really came together just for a second, and now all of a sudden it's gone. So yeah, tornado hit just to the west of Tylertown. If I can get the chat off, I haven't been able to see chat this whole time. So if you're saying anything in chat, I'm sorry, I haven't been able to say anything. Okay, we're good now. This is the cell I'm more focused on, which is oh, another tornado now, Franklinton. So yeah, I was talking about how these cells down here, how they had better thermodynamics and how they actually looked pretty decent, but on radar, I didn't really see a whole bunch of anything, and so they kind of threw me off all of a sudden. Um, but now, yeah, another tornado warning. This one's for Louisiana. We'll cover this one as well because this is going to move into Mississippi before too long. This is over the community of Franklinton. This is a radar indicated tornado warning. It doesn't look too impressive on radar, but it is there. This is which parish is that? Yeah, new warning south of Columbia. Thank you, Kenny. How's it going, Kenny? Hope you're having a good morning. I know I am because I've been up since 4 a.m. Nice to see you, Kenny. This storm does not look all that impressive, but I will say that it looks like the cell is getting healthier, which means that we could see this supercell produce a tornado maybe here in the next few minutes. Like I said, we just had that tornado just hit near Tylertown. The velocity still looks pretty decent with this system. It's not the most impressive velocity by any means, but it can definitely spin up a quick tornado here once again in Marion County, probably to the west of Columbia. But Columbia, you're right in this tornado warning. If I go and I take the path one more time, I go out, Columbia, this will be over you in the next few minutes. 6:59 is what it's saying for Columbia right now. This is crossing over Highway 98 right now, but this will be over Columbia. 6:59. That'll be over Columbia, over the community of Emmanuel and Harmony at about 7 o'clock. This is about to cross over the communities of Homage and Sumbox. And then this will continue off to the northeast over Expose, Good Hope, New Union, and Improv. Like I said, this is the cell I'm more worried about right now. It looks the most impressive on radar. But overall, it still looks weak, which is good. But honestly, we're starting to see the velocity pick back up on this cell that's moving over Columbia. It's kind of weird looking because like this cell does not look all that impressive on radar by itself. But we're definitely seeing this cell have the potential of producing another tornado. I'm just going to say it. There's lots of inflow winds, a decent amount of outflow winds. So this would be what we consider more of an inflow dominant cell. But overall, I still think this Columbia cell can produce another tornado. Looking back up to the north, still some rotation on this storm up here in Leake County. If I, let's see, oh boy, why can I not, what is going on? Oh, found out. There we go. Looking at this in Leake County, this is about to go over the community of Hopaka. It'll go over Luther. It'll cross over Mississippi Highway 25 here in the next few minutes. And then it's heading off towards Coosa, Marydale, and Remus. Be in your safe spot. I think this cell could also spin up another tornado pretty quickly. But I do not think your risk is as high as this cell near Columbia. All of a sudden, this morning got pretty interesting. I guess I kind of got the area correct. I guess we'll see. I guess I kind of called it last night as to where our areas were best for development. So, let's take a quick breather real quick. So we have 3 tornado warnings currently. One of them was a confirmed tornado to the west of Tylertown, and it's still a storm that's trying to produce rotation that's crossing over Highway 98 in Columbia. Next, the next cell is up here in Leake County that also produced a brief tornado, but has looked to weaken now. This storm does not look all that impressive, but it still has some rotation with it, so know that. Next up, the final cell is still in Louisiana, but this is going to move up towards Mississippi here before too long. And honestly, that velocity looks pretty decent now with this storm. If we look at reflectivity, you can see a hook with this storm. This storm is kind of getting its act together, and this will move off to the northeast. And if it continues on, it'll move towards Sandy Hook, towards St. Paul, and towards Twin here in South Mississippi. Let's see if I can find us a camera now and see if I can get us some storms. I already had everything X'd out, and unfortunately, everything came back together. What is going on? Thank you. MDOT. Seeing if I can find us some traffic cams. New tornado warning in Jeff Davis and Marion County. Did they just update the warning? Yeah, it is now a radar indicated warning. So they took off the confirmed tornado tag. So I do not believe we have a tornado on the ground. I've been saying that for the last few minutes. But still monitoring that. The cell up in Leake County, I'm not really worried about anymore. It looks kind of weak now. That cell does not look all that impressive anymore. Maybe let me look at storm relative velocity real quick. Yeah, this does not have any area of obvious rotation anymore. However, both of these cells in South Mississippi definitely still do. Let's continue to try to get these traffic cams, trying to get us a camera on these storms. 3 tornado warnings currently across Mississippi. Nope. 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 There we go. Just want to see traffic cameras. Sorry if I'm looking down this way. This is where the TV is with the cameras on it. So I'm in a little bit of a pickle, but that's just how it goes. It does not look like we have a traffic cam near Columbia. However, we do have a cell. We do have a camera looking west towards it. Sort of. This is a camera in Hattiesburg. The cell is sort of in the background of this. WDAM said one around Kokomo. Curious. Let's see what they're saying. Are they saying a tornado on the ground near Kokomo? Oh yeah, that is where that tornado hit. I agree. That was near Noxo. It was on the ground for a little bit towards Kokomo. It might have touched down again, actually, now that I'm looking at that. Yeah, there was another brief tornado, it looks like. Well, no. It was the same tornado. I lied. Yeah, it touched down near Cardo and then lifted by the time it got to Noxo. And then near Kokomo was more debris fallout, I believe. Or maybe it was still weak on the ground by the time it got to Kokomo. But I do not believe this tornado crossed Highway 98. It does not look like it did. It looks like it was lifting by that point. Because what happens is debris gets lofted in the air and then it starts falling. And it's still on radar after it dissipates. So yeah, definitely the tornado was on the ground somewhere from Noxo towards Kokomo. I agree with that completely and wholeheartedly. But yeah, this thing could still produce something very soon to the west of Columbia. Still watching it right now. The tornado warning in Leake County has been allowed to expire. So we still have these 2 tornado warnings. One in Marion County that involves Lamar County and Jeff Davis counties. The other in a parish in Louisiana that's just outside of Mississippi. What in the world is going on with our velocity? I just lost radar. Hello? Okay. There we go. I'm back now. Yep, this velocity still right over Columbia right now. This is crossing over Columbia as we speak. Trying to swap back and forth between reflectivity and velocity, and I have lost my velocity, it looks like. Did my internet go out? What is going on? Sorry, give me 1 second. Having some technical difficulties. I don't know why. I'll switch you over to the traffic cam real quick. I gotta restart the weather program. It's not having a good time. All right, we're back. Everything's loading in real quick. Yeah, we did have a tornado go from the communities of Noxo to Kokomo, and then we had another one up towards Leake County. Just really going through a lot of things right now. Did that radar go down? Everything. Nothing's working. Give me 2 seconds. I don't know what's going on with my radar. There we go. We're back. Finally. But yes, if you're in Columbia, I would be in your safe spot right now. I definitely think this thing can touch back on the ground. Let's do another look and see how far this is away from certain places. This will be near Collins around 7:30. This is over Columbia right now. It's basically over the communities of Harmony and Emmanuel. If you're in Good Hope or New Union, be in your safe spot, as this thing could still spin up another tornado pretty quickly. Ebenezer, you're involved in that as well. We really got to work on getting. We got to get donation money. We got to start getting some sky cams in some of these areas. It would help us out tremendously in terms of seeing things. Golly. We have a flood advisory up in Tupelo. Flooding concerns up there. What the heck is going on? Let me switch radars real quick. I think radar Omega might have just went down. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's switch here. Okay. Yep, there we go. This will be fine for now. Both warnings just dropped off the board. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Did they just drop the 2 tornado warnings? I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties here. I can't even. My entire system just went down. Like, my radar app's gone. I don't have any. The 2 tornado warnings just dropped. I don't know if I agree with the 2 tornadoes warnings being dropped. I know there's nothing on the ground. Looking at this velocity, I don't believe there's anything on the ground right now, but I wouldn't be shocked if anything formed out of these. I'm looking at this cell over here near Collins now as well. It's producing some rotation, but my radar just completely flunked itself. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna put you on a. I'm gonna put you all on a Skycam just really quickly. I have a backup real quick that I can use. I don't know what's going on. Seems like all data just fell off a cliff. Don't know why that's happening. I accidentally uninstalled my backup this morning, so I'm downloading it just real quick. This will take me a few seconds. Um, I know it's not my internet. Trust me, it's not my internet. I know that's not the problem. Trying to figure out if there's something wrong with. Something went wrong. Oh boy. Two tornado warnings are back. They're still here. These tornado warnings didn't go away. Sorry, having some technical difficulties. Okay, we're back. Okay, we got radar data now. Let's go. Maybe we do. I This is amazing. I have no clue what's going on. There we go. Two tornado warnings have fallen off the board. Having some technical difficulties apparently with all these weather apps. No clue what's going on. Apparently Radar Omega is trying to fix some things. I wish they would fix some things as well. There we go. Okay, we're here. We're back. We have a backup. We're fine. Let's see. Let's change here. There we go. We're good now. Okay, let's switch over to velocity. Okay, so you have this cell over Columbia right now that's moving off to the northeast. Let me go ahead and put this on the screen. Apparently Radar Omega just completely went down. No clue what is going on with Radar Omega right now. Sorry about that. Entire system just went down. But we're looking at these two areas of rotation. This one to the south that's in Louisiana, that if it continues to move off to the northeast, will enter Marion County and possibly parts of Walthall County. This could also move into Lamar County as well. The next area of rotation I'm looking at is towards Collins. Go back to reflectivity. It doesn't really look all that great, if I'm going to be honest. That cell is not looking too impressive. It just is showing a little bit of velocity. But overall, still two tornado warnings, so still be on the side of caution. Sorry about all of our technical difficulties. No clue why Radar Omega just went down. Apparently they're trying to fix something, but it's not working. I don't know what's going on with our equipment. I think they're trying to fix something, and it's not working, obviously. Okay, at least we're here. We made it this far. Velocity on this Louisiana cell is looking better. The shape of the cell looks okay. It's not the most impressive thing in the world, but it looks pretty decent in terms of the shape of the cell. Looking at the velocity, though, kind of some interference here, but there is definitely some rotation here. We get those greens and those reds. So if you're in Marion County, if you're in Walthall County, in this very edge of Walthall County, or if you're in Lamar County, I would just be cautioned and just know that this cell here in Louisiana is there and it is moving off to the northeast. At some point, these cells will run out of fuel, but we'll see if that happens. This other cell here in Columbia, it's kind of broadened out a little bit. If I can play this forward, or if I can play this back a little bit, you can see how the rotation has broadened out here in the last few scans. And I'm sorry that this doesn't look as beautiful as Radar Omega, but apparently they're having issues right now. So we're having to stick with another app for right now. One tornado warning currently. I wonder which one was allowed to expire. If I had to guess, the one that was allowed to expire is probably to the south. Okay. Just going to close Radar Omega for now. It's not worth my time and effort fix this. I'm very sorry for the technical difficulties. I totally get people leaving. No clue what's going on. I couldn't help anything about it. So the tornado warning in Louisiana was allowed to expire. So we only have one tornado warning left, and that's here in Columbia. And that's due to this rotation still sort of being there here in the middle of Marion County. This will soon move into Jeff Davis County and Covington County, and then possibly a corner of Lamar County. I don't really see it hitting Lamar County. See, let's turn on that storm track. There we go. Yeah, but this velocity is kind of ramping itself back up once again. It doesn't really look amazing from storm relative velocity, but it doesn't look terrible. I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, I mean, if you're in Hattiesburg, it's about to get pretty rainy, but nothing really to worry about as of right now. Lots of rain over South Mississippi. It's a pretty rainy morning now. But you still got this one tornado warning over in Marion County. But luckily, that tornado has lifted about 10-15 minutes ago and is just kind of a spinning area of rotation right now. But luckily, the sun's starting to come up. It's starting to be easier to see, which is good and which is what we like to see. Going to bring up the traffic cam. This is looking from Hattiesburg. You can look off to the west and see rain and heavy rain on the camera as the morning gets started from Hattiesburg. Also some lightning, as you can see, which is going to be expected with storms that are producing tornadoes for sure. Pretty tight area of rotation here. If you're in the northeastern corner of Marion County, I would be in your safe spot. This thing could spin up another tornado really quickly. Let's see. Let's move over to that camera. See if Radar Omega decides to cooperate now. Okay, it looks like we're back. So we're back with Radar Omega. Finally, we'll look back at those tornadoes real quick now that hit near Kokomo. So yeah, definitely a tornado hit right outside of the community of Knoxo. That was outside of Tylertown. And then that continued to move off to the northeast, probably as a pretty weak tornado before dissipating right before it crossed over Highway 98 near Kokomo. But as of right now, it looks like that we have not had another tornado touch the ground since that one lifted. But yeah, I mean, this area of this little cell here gave us a little scare there for a little bit. It looks like what happened is, I mean, it looks like the southern storms came through and kind of pushed around the slower storms moving to the north, and it just created some rotation really quickly that produced a tornado. It wasn't even a classic supercell either. It was it's called a nudger. A little nudger helped produce this. You can see the spin that forms right there. right outside of Tylertown. So pretty cool stuff. This is not your typical supercell, which is why I went off air right before this tornado hit. I went completely off air. And then I was about to make a Facebook post and I saw that there was a tornado warning and I was like, wow. Because it wasn't your classic supercell. So what happened in this region right here, I'll circle where it happened. You'll see a bunch of spinning happen really quickly. Very poor little example, but you'll see that happen right here. So you'll see these two cells collide and they start rotating really quickly. About right there. About right here is where it happened. And so yeah, so this little cell to the north or to the south was moving faster than the cell to the north. And so this one, let's say, was moving this fast. This one was moving this fast. That's going to create some rotation here, which allows a tornado to form really quickly. So very cool stuff that happened with that Kokomo, or not Kokomo, with that Noxo tornado. We just hope that everyone is okay that may have gotten hit by this tornado. I'll see if we have any damage reports, if there's anything that we can find real quick. I'm not seeing anything as of right now. Just glad that our radar is back working again. That was not a great time. Yeah, the rotation has broadened out here over Columbia. Not looking amazing. But like I said, it wasn't a classic supercell. You needed the merger to happen, or not the merger, you needed the nudger to happen to get a tornado to form. And so it wasn't really your supercell type storm that could really just spin up a tornado really quickly. I'm going to continue to keep this here because this storm near Collins might try to produce something here soon. It might be the most impressive cell left. This is off to the west of Collins. You'll see this red with this green, which shows us some potential rotation. Yeah, I mean, it it astonishes me how I just like talk stuff into existence. That kind of sucks. Yeah, no, I mean, it just looked like rain, which I agree. I think that's what would have probably happened. Because it wasn't your classic supercell. It was a very specific situation that came together, which I was wrong. I mean, I said that these were just going to be rain showers and not a tornado. I wasn't expecting a tornado, but I mean, it happened. I mean, sometimes that's just what happens here in the South. You get two cells that race past each other and it causes rotation. And so unfortunately that did happen. Luckily, it did look like it was a very weak tornado, which I guess that's what's going to happen whenever you're not really expecting any supercells to produce strong tornadoes. You're just going to get a brief spin up tornado. But yeah, still monitoring this cell near Columbia, monitoring this one near Collins. Gonna give it a few more minutes before I guess I go off for a little bit. But I mean, you still have this cell that's crossing into Mississippi now that is producing rotation. And so at this point, I might just need to stay on air all day because as soon as I say I'm going to go offline, we're going to get another tornado report on the ground. So far, only 2 tornado reports, and that was the quick spin up near Knoxville and the quick one in Leake County. Just crazy stuff. I need to stop talking stuff into existence. I'm also going to look at this cell up here near Louisville. Or not Louisville, near Louisville, between Carthage and Louisville. Because even though it is behind this line right here, you can see a defined hook back here with this supercell back here that honestly has some rotation here. It doesn't look all that impressive, but if we go to storm relative velocity, you can see some outflow winds right here with some inflow winds going back the other way, could produce a quick spin up tornado even. I mean, it's kind of weird because the thermodynamics are good, but the kinematics aren't the best. So you're going to get a bunch of little spin up tornadoes, and that's just kind of what happens here in the south on days like this. I do believe we will see more of long track tornado potential here in the next little bit. But overall, I mean, it seems to be the trend as a quick spin up tornado. I got a reply to a guy that I said yesterday. He said, Columbia, what do you expect? And I said, well, let me reply to this real quick. At least I'm learning some things. Quick spin up tornadoes do happen. So, anyways, still monitoring different areas of rotation. I think we still have 4 areas of rotation to monitor as of right now. One of those being the Columbia storm, one of them being the Collins cell, one of them being down here towards Franklinton between Bogalusa and Columbia, and then the other one's up here near Louisville. Having to switch between radars, you don't have the best view from some of these radars. But yeah, let me point out where these areas of rotation are. This first area of rotation is right over the Mississippi-Louisiana state line. This is along Highway 35, and where Highway 35 becomes Highway 21 at the Louisiana-Mississippi border, near the community of Twin. Next area of rotation is going to be over here over Pine Burr, sorry, over Highway 13. The next area of rotation is more broad, but it's over the communities of Good Hope, New Union, and Improv. Next area of rotation is just to the west of Collins, about to pass over Collins, crossing Highway 84 now. And then I guess the final area of rotation is up here to the southwest of Louisville. We have a flood watch up, or a flood advisory up here in Tupelo, where minor flooding in low-lying areas with poor drainage is possible because of 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain in the last hour or so near Tupelo. But yeah, these areas of rotation should broaden out here before too long. I'm not going to count my chickens, because last time I said that, I ate my words. And so what happened in Noxo to spin up a brief tornado was pretty impressive. Not your classic supercell, which is kind of what we were thinking the potential would be, is maybe a quick supercell could form something. I mean, obviously the cell was probably a supercell, but the way that a tornado developed was not your normal way a tornado forms with that Noxo storm. Pretty cool. It's like whenever you have a fast vehicle moving past a slower vehicle and you create a little vortex, that's kind of what happened. But yeah, been a wild morning all of a sudden. woke up at 4 o'clock to cover storms, and then all of a sudden in the last 30 minutes we had two brief tornadoes touch down. Probably nothing really too bad, but it's hard to look at debris signature and know how bad a tornado was sometimes. So I'm gonna wait till we can get some reports and some pictures on um, some damage near Knoxo. See if I can figure out anything for us. I think this tornado warning in Colombia is going to be allowed to expire. Not seeing anything with any tornado damage reports so far, which is good. If I turn on the damage reports, which I don't have right now, you can see if we have any damage reports so far. Still looking at this area of rotation that's between Columbia and Summerall right now. All it takes is for one of these cells to get its act together for like 2 minutes for it to produce a quick spin up to tear up a few trees, maybe affect some people's lives, and that's all it takes. Unfortunately, kind of hard to predict some of these cells. But the Jackson radar is a little better to look with this cell, but all of a sudden it looks very broad. So. But overall, I mean, you still have this area of rotation just off to the west of Summerall. I think the tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire, or shortened. It expires in 8 minutes, but this cell's about to be out of the area. But anyways, good morning, Mississippi. Um, Obviously the storms decided they were gonna produce something real quick. And honestly, this was the weaker side of the day that we've been looking towards. I'm more concerned about the afternoon and its tornado threat. I knew that if we were going to have anything this morning, that it was going to be on the weaker side of tornadoes, maybe a quick spin up. Maybe EF1, maybe the max strength I would really say is believable. However, these tornadoes this afternoon, I think if one gets in the right environment, can become significant. Now, I'm not talking like EF4, EF5. I'm just saying that we could get some tornadoes this afternoon that could produce some pretty bad damage. It's really going to depend on if they get in those good conditions or if they don't. We're not expecting no widespread tornado outbreak now. Just know that. But just know that the chances of getting a pretty decent tornado like maybe EF2 strength is there. We're gonna have to watch, and like I said, I think that risk is farther south towards West Louisiana and South Mississippi. But we're gonna have to monitor that as we go into the afternoon. Their rotation still kind of showing strength. I'm actually shocked that this thing maybe hasn't produced again. Not seeing anything on debris on radar, which is good. I'm going to stay live because this cell near Summerall still kind of has my eye. Let's switch over to the Hammond, Louisiana radar. Doesn't look as good from this angle in terms of like rotation. So you have to kind of cherry pick which radar you're using. This one shows the area of rotation the best. We always talk about those greens and those blues side by side, and this is right over Summerall. I'm gonna go ahead and like show you the cone of where this is expected to go. I think it's moving that way. Let me double check. Probably about right. Let me retry that one more time. We're a little closer this way. All right. This is over. Well, this is not going to be over Summerall. This is going to pass north of Summerall. Expected to pass over Seminary at 7:45. So 7:45 is when this little cell is expected to pass over Seminary. You then continue on into Jones County, Ellisville, 8:05, Laurel, 8:12. This would be over Sandersville at 8:23 and Heidelberg at 8:30. Now, I don't think it's going to make it that far, but this is where that cell is going, and this cell has been rotating for a good while since it produced a tornado near Kokomo in Noxo, just outside of Columbia and Tylertown. Then we just got a new warning. Let me check. No, we did not get a new warning. So, like I said, still monitoring this cell. And so we can look over the past few frames of how this cell has came together. Briefly produced a tornado over Columbia. Let me increase the amount of frames just so we can see that real quick. You'll see that this cell began in Louisiana, moved through, produced a quick tornado right there, and then has now moved off to the north and is now to the west of Summerall. It's kind of all jumbled up in this mess as well. We have some strong showers and storms spanning from Collins, Mississippi down towards Franklinton, Louisiana. Very rainy, and it's about to get very heavy rain in the hub city this morning. Very stormy out there. Thunderstorms that are capable of producing a tornado. Looking at the bigger picture, looking at North Mississippi, storms are starting to move out of North Mississippi, which is good. You're going to get on with your morning. It's going to be nicer as we go throughout the day, even though more showers are expected this afternoon. Showers over Louisville, moving out of Kosciuszko, and also showers over Columbus right now. Moving farther south, Meridian, you're going to have showers move into your area soon. But then looking farther south is where they're expecting thunderstorms. Unfortunately, sometimes forecasting is a hit or a miss, and sometimes it's just how it happens. That's why predicting weather is so difficult. Still, not going to give up on this just yet, just because these areas of rotation are still looking fairly decent to me in terms of being concerned. So I'm going to continue to sit here and wait on that. Going to pull up something for us to look at real quick. Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. Okay, let's look for it. Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Here's what I was looking up. So if we look at what I posted last night, the tornado breakdown. Okay. So this morning, that area of convection over in Louisiana in front of the line was not expected. Like we were not expecting convection that far south early in the morning. So those cells formed down there and actually got a good bit of ingredients down there to spin up a tornado. We also saw that in Leake County, which was kind of already expected. We were expecting a tornado to be possible in that region. But overall, I mean, red circle was almost slightly spot on. I did kind of miss where exactly a spin up tornado was going to happen. I wasn't really expecting a spin up this morning, or not in that regards at least, but it happened. It is what it is. Sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. But overall, we got that one tornado, well, at least two tornadoes so far this morning. And it's not a race. It's just that's where we're sitting right now. They have let the tornado warning expire up here between Bassfield and Soso. I'm going to see if we can get a camera on this real quick. It's going to be difficult to find one, but all in that jumbled up mess, we still have an area of a rotation now off to the northwest of Summerall. I think I might have a video feed that we can look at. Let's move over to MDOT traffic cam. Okay, this was not what I wanted it to be. My bad. Let me go back and fix this real quick. I apparently selected the wrong camera. This is going to be the video we need. So what this video is going to show us soon is a potential cell moving to the north of Summerall. So this is actually a good bit farther off to the east. I believe that this camera is between Hattiesburg and Summerall, and is at the Highway 42, Highway 49 intersection. And so we'll continue to look at this camera as we go throughout the next little bit, because we have intercepted tornadoes before using an MDOT traffic cam. We've done it before. Who knows if it'll happen again, but we've done it before. But I mean, this is now crossing over Highway 42. I'm going to take a look real quick. Let's look at power outages. See if I can find some power, if I can find power outage map. Nope. Okay. Looking at the power outages, Leake County currently has 774 customers out. I guess that's kind of expected. They had a quick tornado go through there, and so they have some people out. Atala County, 167 people out of power, 79 out in Carroll County. Another one is Simpson County with 316 customers out right now. All of these might not be storm related, but they could be. St. Helena Parish in Louisiana, 476 people out of power. So not a ton of people out of power, but we still have some power outages there. And look at that. This velocity is kind of tightened back up as the cell moves now north of Summerall. That's why I've been kind of wanting to keeping a look at it. Because it's been showing signs of potentially the cell coming back together. I'll give it this. The Slidell radar, not Slidell, this is Hammond now. The Hammond, Louisiana radar does not look too great with that cell. But to be fair, that's what we said last time. It's more of playing the waiting game now. What's going to happen? This other area down south has now moved into Mississippi, crossing over the Pearl River, crossing over Highway 43 right now. It's moving off more to the east-southeast, or not east-southeast, east-northeast, heading towards Highway 13 now. This will be more of an impact potentially for Purvis and probably up the I-59 corridor, maybe towards Hattiesburg. But since this is moving more east-southeast, I don't see this being a big deal for Hattiesburg as of right now. But storms are reaching the hub city, and so that's why we have to closely monitor this situation. I'm going to switch back to Skycam now. I'm looking from Highway 42. I'm still not really seeing much of anything with that Skycam as of right now. Not really Skycam, but the traffic cam as of right now. Let's see. Gonna take a look from Bellevue, looking off to the west. Just seeing if I can find anything that might give us a clue as to what these cells are doing. I think we're just gonna go back to the camera we were just at, looking off to the north. And so I'll let you look at this one for now. So what we're gonna look at here in the next few minutes, once the cell moves into this frame, is we're going to look and try to see if we can see if the cell has a wall cloud, or not a wall cloud, a mesocyclone, and see if we can see an area rotating under this storm. Now it's totally possible that we won't be able to see it just because it's going to be rain wrapped, which is a common problem here in the South. But sometimes these sky cams can shock you. Anyways, 9 people watching right now. How's it going? I hope you're having a good morning. 7:30 so far. Dang, I've been up for almost 4 hours already. Let's go. Anyways, let's bring back the radar. So let's break it down real quick. What are we looking at right now? Well, I think we have kind of 3 areas of rotation right now that's moving through the area, spanning from just at the Mississippi-Louisiana state line north towards Sumrall. And so we'll break that down. The first one is crossing over the Pearl River. We just talked about this. It crossed over Highway 43 not long ago. This is in the middle of forest right now. It's getting close to crossing over Lost John Road in Pearl River County, I believe. I think that's Pearl. No, this is not in Pearl River County as of right now. I don't have my county boundaries on, sorry. But this area of rotation is right here. Going to cross over Highway 13 soon. Moving east-northeast for the most part. Going to cross over Purvis here before too long. So we'll continue to monitor that area of rotation. The next one's really broad. It's following Highway 98 right now. Not really anything too concerning. Just some broad rotation going on Highway 98 from Columbia towards Hattiesburg. It has made it to Olo so far. The next area of rotation, northwest of Sumrall. This is crossing Highway 42 right now, over the Morris community, over the Melba community, moving off to the northeast. All these areas of rotation have slightly broadened out a little bit, which is good. But for now, we're still just going to look at them. And so if you have any questions regarding the rest of the day, please ask questions in the Facebook chat, because today is not only a one-hit day. This is not the only not the only part of the system we're going to have come through today. This afternoon, we're looking at storms potentially again in South Mississippi. And I think those are really going to have a tornado potential, if I'm going to be honest. I think those have had the better tornado potential than right now. However, here's the issue. These storms that are in South Mississippi now were not expected. We were not expecting these cells in South Mississippi. None of the models were really showing any storms getting fired off in South Mississippi this morning. However, now they are. And so what's going to happen with these storms? Are they going to stabilize the atmosphere and make this afternoon's event weaker? Because if that happens, that's a really good thing if that happens. If these storms this morning can get rid of instability and reduce the risk of this afternoon's storms, that'll be really good for us here in South Mississippi, especially considering what models have been showing. If I zoom out, this afternoon, models were showing that the best risk for tornadoes. I go to the tornado risk because that's usually the worst one. The best risk for tornadoes was going to be along this corridor in western Louisiana, the southern Pine Belt, and for the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. That was where your best chance of a tornado was going to be. But now that we have these storms a little farther north, I'll show these in like blue. Is that going to take part of South Mississippi out of the equation tonight? That or tonight into this afternoon, or this afternoon to tonight, whatever you want to say. Is that going to be what happens? I'm just curious. I think we're going to need to look at the atmosphere after these storms pass and see what happens. But the atmosphere may be able to recover. We've seen it multiple times, especially with the temperatures that we have around the area. I would love to see current temperatures around the area. I can't really load that up right now. But here's the thing. If the temperatures and the dew points stay high, they stay in the 70s, maybe they get to the upper 70s, maybe we see severe weather still continue into this afternoon, or well, come back this afternoon. But will the lower level instability be there? Will the rotation be there this afternoon and into tonight? I think it's definitely possible, mainly because we're expecting storms in about 12 hours. So timing on that's going to get a little weird. Anyways, look at the velocity one more time, and then we might look at some models here. We still got some broad areas of circulation, but nothing I'm too worried about as of this very second. All right, I'm going to pull up the models. Let's take a look at some data now. This is the HRRR model, which is the best high resolution model. Let's see what it's picking up on right now. This is for the 12Z run. This is one of the bigger runs that this one of the more important runs, I should say, that this model will have, which picks up on the storms in South Mississippi, which is pretty good. Which the conditions that these storms were in were actually pretty decent. Let's move ahead a little bit. Which is funny because this model is expecting these storms to move more northeast instead of east-northeast. And so here's what's going to happen. These storms are going to move off. And then after these storms pass, the atmosphere is going to need to kind of figure itself out, because look at the kinematics. All of a sudden, the lower atmosphere does not look all that great for tornado development. You do not want to see it turning back on itself to favor tornadoes. So that's good for us in terms of reducing the odds for severe weather. Specifically tornadoes, I should say. I think the odds for damaging winds are still there. So here's what I need to look at myself. I need to look at the surface based with the photographs and see what is, like, with these systems moving through, does the atmosphere ever recover? And the answer might actually just be no. The atmosphere may never recover from the storms this morning. So I think these storms this morning is probably a pretty good thing for South Mississippi. While we did have a brief tornado, that's going to do a really good job at keeping the atmosphere stable across South Mississippi. Now, I still think the potential's there, but it might not be as bad as it could have been. Especially with our temperatures now. We go and look at the temperatures and what was expected across South Mississippi. This still shows temperatures maybe getting into the 80s, the mid 70s. This afternoon, this is at 4 o'clock. That's not 4 o'clock. It's at 2 o'clock. But if we go back 6 hours ago, Temperatures were expected to be even higher, with temperatures into the low to mid 80s across South Mississippi beforehand. So our temperatures are going to be considerably cooler because of these storms this morning. And so that's a pretty good thing due to these storms. I still think our dew points are going to be really high, probably near 70 degrees, which is pretty decent if you want severe weather, or for supporting severe weather, I should say. But just looking at the hodographs, like I said, I keep talking about a hodograph. That tells us where the rotation is in the atmosphere. It just kind of goes away due to the storms this morning. I mean, does the atmosphere ever recover? I mean, I think that you might be able to get a quick tornado with some dynamics like that, but I think the odds are lower. I definitely think that the odds are lower this afternoon than they were before. But I would still say that risk probably still spans from the I-20 corridor down. Maybe give or take a few miles. But the I-20 corridor down is going to be where we're looking at that severe weather event potential. Anyways, looking back at Seminary, or towards Seminary, look at that rotation. Wow. This storm still is just trying and trying. And I mean, I can see a hook in there. Looking at the correlation coefficient, I don't see anything so far. So that's good. But definitely some rotation still heading over Seminary. I'll bring up our sky cam now. Well, this is an MDOT traffic cam looking off to the north, sort of starting to get into this system. It's moving off to the north, about to cross over Seminary, and is about to cross over Highway 49, US Highway 49, here in the next few minutes. Whoops. Wrong thing. Oh boy. Whoopsies. So yeah, we continue to watch this rotation. Luckily, a lot of these areas of rotation have weakened. But these morning storms, like I said, I think this is a good thing for South Mississippi in terms of being a limiting factor to severe weather tonight, because, or to this afternoon to tonight, because if you sit here and just allow the storms to, not, what am I saying? I'm sorry. It's been early morning. If you sit here and allow these, or allow the temperatures to rise and rise and rise and rise without having any storms in the morning, the available energy there is much higher than these storms coming through right now, and kind of taking away some of the environment for this afternoon. New tornado warning. There it is. My eyes were on it. They just tornado warned it. We had it right here. Tornado warning for Jones County as well. This is for Jeff Davis, or not Jeff Davis. This is for Covington County and Jones County. I've been watching this one. Oh, there it is. Trying to get one thing fixed real quick so that I can see my counties. Don't know why. Sorry, sometimes this thing's a pain. There we go. Anyways, I can't see county lines, but I know where this is. This is for Jeff Davis and Jones County. Tornado warning for not Jeff Davis. I mean Covington and Jones County until 8:30 for our radar indicated tornado warning. So there it is. The tornado warning for Jones County and for Covington County. This is for the area of rotation that's over Seminary right now. This is moving off to the northeast. I'll get you timing on this here fairly soon. Okay, hurry up. Okay, we're almost done, almost done. Let's get this done. I can't see anything. There we go. Okay, we're here. Had to get that posted real quick. It was kind of essential. All right, anyways, tornado warning for Covington County and Jones County. For this is the same cell that produced a tornado near Kokomo earlier, outside of Tylertown. If we look, let's go ahead and let's look at the correlation coefficient. I'm not seeing any debris no debris getting thrown into the air right now. That's what we like to see. We like to see tornadoes off of the ground. Okay. So, let's plan this out timing wise. This is moving off to the northeast. Let's give it a little bit of a better run than that. Okay, so here we go. Oh my gosh, come on. Why is this doing this? Okay, here we go. So, passing over Seminary right now. Will be over Bethel by 7:59. That's in 6 minutes. Oak Bowery 8:04. Sandhill 8:10. Pleasant Ridge 8:14. Laurel 8:22. Spring Hill 8:20. Shady Grove 8:24. Hoy 8:26. Irada 8:29. And Sandersville at 8:32. It's actually heading right for me right now. I'll worry about that whenever it gets closer to time to worry about that. But yes, tornado warning. What in the world? Golly. Anyways, yep, tornado warning. This is a radar indicated tornado warning, which means that they believe that the radar is showing that there could be a tornado pretty soon with this cell. It does not mean that there's anything on the ground as of right now. And so we're going back to this traffic cam real quick. The cell is moving off to the north of this camera. You can see this camera really shaking around right now as the storm goes over Seminary right now. Believe we might have access to a camera in Laurel. I think I know we do. I know there's a camera in Laurel that we could look off in the distance here. Let's refresh this real quick. There we go. So here is the Laurel camera. Turn it on now. This is looking in Laurel, Mississippi. In case you're wondering where you're looking, this is from a tower in downtown. This is looking now off to the east, or not to the east, to the west. This is looking off to the west from Laurel. So this is looking off towards Collins right now. So basically where this storm is coming from is where this camera is looking. And so we'll keep that camera looking for now. This area of rotation has broadened out once again. We talk about rotations constantly broadening out and tightening back up, and that's just kind of what happens on a day like this. It's very, very possible that this storm could have produced a tornado very quickly, but it looks like that won't happen as of right now. But like I said, I mean, this area of rotation, you got this back wind and you got this forward wind into the storm, creating a rotation probably around a point right there where I just drew that circle, which is over Highway 49 right now. So definitely probably an area of rotation crossing over Highway 49 right now. I'm going to switch over the camera once again. Be the traffic cam at Highway 42. This cell would be just off to the north of this camera at this point. Probably moving into frame at some point. It probably won't be able to see it. You can see it getting darker on the left-hand side of the screen. That's probably the cell starting to move more into the camera frame. Looking off with timing with this one more time for right now. Remember, like I said, Oak Bowery 806, Sandhill 812, Pleasant Ridge 816, Laurel at 824, Shady Grove at 825, Errata at 831, and then Sandersville at 835. And then if it continues off to the north, we'll start worrying about Heidelberg and areas in Jasper County. Here's our area of rotation now. This is about to cross over Highway 590 right now between Seminary and Bethel, it looks like. This is about to cross over Highway 590. This will impact the communities of Seminary, Bethel, and Rainey here in the next few minutes. Now, I do not believe that we have a circulation on the ground right now. I actually know we don't have a circulation on the ground right now. But this thing could produce a tornado at any moment now. There's a quick chance that we could get a tornado with this cell. So this is going to move into Jasper County fairly soon. I believe it's almost on the county line now as we speak. Now I'm going to move over to the Laurel camera once again. You can see that cell structure actually with this sky cam. You can kind of see the cloud base of this supercell probably right here as it gets darker through there. So I believe that's what we're looking at right now. Overall, you're not going to be able to see much with a sky cam like this, but just in case this cell does continue to make it towards Laurel, we have the sky cam for it. Just trying to remind you, it's not a tornado on the ground right now. This is a radar indicated tornado warning, which means that a tornado is possible here within the next few minutes. Going back to the radar here. Here's what it looks like. This is crossing over Highway 590 right now. As it continues off to the northeast, it'll then cross over Highway 588 near Sand Hill. That is where we're looking at this to cross over. I believe this storm would more than likely go to the north of Ellisville. However, it's hard to tell for right now. And so now we're starting to see some like dividing in the line. So it's not straight anymore. We kind of have this here, it kind of bows out, comes back in and bows out again. And normally that's what you look for whenever you're looking for a quick spin up tornado. Usually that's what it looks like on radar. Bringing back out the Laurel Skycam now. All right, press the wrong button. Laurel Skycam now. You can see that cloud base there in the distance. And the system starting to move into Laurel. Well, at least part of the system moving into Laurel. Just the rain aspect of it. Go back here. I'm now going back to the camera from Highway 40. Not Highway 40, Highway 42. So that area that we were looking at for rotation would be to the north of this Skycam now. And I believe it's probably too far to look into it good now because it's going to be way back here, which I don't believe this Skycam would be able to see very cleanly, unfortunately. So anyways, we'll stay with the Laurel Skycam for now. But overall now, Laurel's starting to see pouring rain from the beginning of this supercell. If we look at the reflectivity, which is the normal rain radar, you can see Laurel starting to get some heavy rain. I'm not on the right camera. You can see Laurel starting to get some heavy rain from the beginning of this cell. Now, the main area of interest for the cell is going to be back off to the southwest a little more. It's here over Highway 90 or 590, probably between Highway 590 and 588 right now. This is moving off to the northeast. Now, this will probably move north of Ellisville, but if this continues on its current track, this would move right over Laurel. So we need to continue to watch where this is going. It could potentially go north of Laurel. I could see that happening, but as of its current track, this would head right towards Laurel and right in Laurel. And then normally, if cells go through Laurel, they usually go up towards Sandersville. If it comes up towards Sandersville, we might have to figure something out for the live stream at that point. Because I would have to figure something out. Storm chase anybody? Anyone down for a storm chase? Is that what we're doing? You know, we'll wait and see. Anyways, still watching this system as it. Or I keep saying system. Keep watching this cell as it's passing into Jones County now. If we look at the current track of how this cell is moving, it's generally giving a good old northeast direction, which might put it into North Laurel if it keeps on towards Laurel. But it's hard to tell just for now. I'll check the correlation coefficient one more time for now. I'm still seeing nothing. It's good to always come back and check this because it can really tell you on if anything's going on or not. Going back to the camera from Laurel, it's just clouds and heavy rain is all we can see from Laurel right now. Gonna go back to maybe the camera at Highway 42. No, it's coming a flood at Highway 42. Unfortunately, you cannot see anything anymore. But I'm trying to see. We have some cameras in Laurel, but I don't know if they're going to be much help at all for this situation. No, they won't be. So we're just going to have to deal with what we have here with this Laurel sky cam and then the radar. Right now, 69 degrees in Laurel with a dew point of 69 degrees as well. Definitely enough to support severe weather. But will the storm be able to kind of get itself together to do that? It looks like it has the potential to. We'll have to wait and see. I will, Miss Stroh. I think Northeast will be fine. I think if this is going to pass through Laurel, it's going to be North Laurel. I see this going north of Laurel, not south of Laurel. So I think Northeast Jones will be fine. I will go ahead and say that. But maybe we could get some other kinks in this line that might be able to go south of Laurel. We'll have to see. But overall, I think this main area of circulation right now will go north of Laurel for now. Let's keep going on this way. Whoops, sorry. So, bringing it out a little farther. Going to look at more of a timing on this one more time. This is over Oak Bowery right now, over Bethel right now, over those communities as of right now. It'll pass over Sand Hill in about 10 minutes. Maybe less than 10 minutes. I'll say 8:17 is when it's saying, let's say 8:15. Pleasant Ridge, 8:21. Laurel at 8:29. Now, like I said, I think this will go north of Laurel. We'll have to wait and see. Looks like this thing could be shifting south little by little. It's hard to tell. If it continues on this track, like I said, 8:30, 8:29 a.m. for Laurel. This would put Areta at 8:36, Sandersville at 8:39, Heidelberg at 8:47 as these storms move off to the northeast. Velocity is looked to get a little tighter on this radar, but it's hard to see in this old jumbled up mess right now. Still radar indicated warning, so nothing on the ground as of right now. Nothing showing up on the velocity signature. I'll move back to the radar. So here you can see the cell. I'll point out where the supercell is if you can't see it. You can see this classic kind of, it's not the most beautiful supercell in the world, but you can kind of see this kidney bean shape through the radar that you usually look for. So this is a classic supercell through here. That's moving through Jones County. But it's kind of in an embedded line. I'll once again bring back the sky cam from Laurel. This is what we're going to continue to look at because I really believe that if this continues on its track, this could be going through Laurel. It might go north of Laurel. It might go south. It's going to be close. But as of this current track, I think that this sky cam could give us something if this continues on its track to the northeast. It is shifting slightly, little by little, each direction. But as of right now, if it just continues to go straight, this area of rotation would go right over Laurel, and so the sky cam might be worth something. And so here's the concern, is that while we don't see a single area of rotation that's like dominant, you have this line that's kind of like crinkled. And normally whenever you see a crinkled line like that, you have multiple different areas of rotation, or well, that can form rotation and that can really spin up a tornado pretty fast. And so now your broad area of circulation is spanning from Oak Bowery all the way down to Rainey and Shelton. Really, any of these parts on the line could produce something soon. But I think the main area of rotation is right here over Monroe Road. This is just off to the north of Highway 590. And now moving off to the northeast, this will cross over Sandhill in probably the next 5 minutes. This will cross over Sandhill in about 5 minutes and cross over Highway 588. I know we're just tracking a mesocyclone. We're just tracking an area of rotation right now. But like I said, and like we've seen it today, these can spin up in a heartbeat. And this is also about to go through a highly populated area of central Jones County with Laurel, and this is north of Ellisville, but this is going through countryside in Jones County. This is a fairly populated county that this is moving through, and I know population's not why I care about doing weather, but this is a pretty big deal if something spins up, especially as we get closer to Laurel. So I'll go back to the full sky cam here. I'll break down what I can see right now, because I think I can slightly make out some things. You can kind of see the cloud base of the system that's coming in the distance. You can kind of see where it's flat, where you can see where the base of the storm is. I don't think this camera is too relevant as of right now. It'll become more relevant in probably the next 10 to 15 minutes. They've just cut the warning a little bit, but that not in terms of time, just in terms of cutting where this storm is so far. Looking at velocity, here's what I'd be worried about. Looking at the main area of rotation, it's about right here, over Bethel. I mentioned that, but there's another area of rotation. There's another area of rotation down farther south, and I believe that's probably in Jones County as well. That might be in northern Forest County. It's hard to tell. But that's over Shelton or Rainey right now. Yeah, this is probably about to cross into Jones County. This area of rotation could develop into something soon that's just north of the airport. And so, like I said, I don't think we've had anything touch down. We haven't. I don't. Not that I think. I know that we haven't had anything touch down yet. With this cell. I know we haven't had anything touch down yet, but it's not saying it can't happen, because I actually I'm impressed with some of these velocity signatures here, but there's just so many different areas of rotation that it's hard for us to know like which one is going to produce a tornado. I mean, there's some that are favorable, but not all of them. And it's just each radar scan will have to look and look and look. And that's really what this situation is right here. Because, I mean, you can point out different, I mean, maybe 3-4 different areas of rotation right here. But, I mean, obviously the most impressive one is going to be this one. That's not right. This one that just crossed over Bethel. And so, yeah, this area of rotation is crossing the Leaf River right now. It's probably about the crossover 588. So this is probably about the crossover Highway 588, crossing over Sand Hill within the next 3 minutes. The other area of rotation to the south, I'm not as worried about it, but this is over Rainey, crossing over Rainey Road. This would be crossing over Interstate 59 fairly soon. So this area of rotation farther south, the one over Rainey and Shelton, like I said, I'm not as worried about it as much, but it's there. I'm going to continue to look at that one. The main area of rotation is here over not over Sand Hill, about to cross over Sand Hill. There's another area of rotation a little farther north that's over Big Creek right now. I'm not really too worried about that one either. It might come up later. It's hard to tell. We have 3 different areas of rotation. One of them's the dominant area of rotation, but any of these 3, if just one little thing comes together properly, could produce a tornado. We've already had 2 today. If you didn't know, we've had 2 today. One quick spin up near Noxo, which is between Tylertown and Columbia, which is also just south of Kokomo. It dissipated just south of Kokomo. It didn't look too bad, but it did happen. The next tornado that we had was at the same time, was in Leake County to the west of Carthage. So we've at least had 2 tornadoes today that we can confirm by radar. And now we have 3, I want to say 3 areas of rotation. Really just one main area of rotation we're looking at here in Jones County right now. And remember, this is only the first wave of weather today. We have another wave coming through tonight into this afternoon where South Mississippi, the Pine Belt, the Gulf Coast could see another round of storms that have another tornado threat. Now, I will say this tornado threat is not the most impressive thing in the world, but it's still there. But honestly, this morning's storms could be reducing that risk this afternoon due to cooling down temperatures, which will reduce the instability in the atmosphere. And it's also some other things with kinematics and whatnot. Just know that these storms this morning might be a good thing in terms of reducing this afternoon's severe weather impact. Anyway, we just got an update. Looks like the main area of rotation might have broadened out just a little bit. We like to see that. But you still see... Are you online somewhere reporting this tornado watch? I don't know. Did we have a tornado watch issued? Sorry, I had a text message from someone asking about weather. Let's see. Did the National Weather Service issue a tornado watch? I'm not seeing anything. Let's check that real quick. We have a second to check and see if we had a tornado watch issued. Not really that it matters if a tornado watch is issued or not. A warning outranks a watch. Let's see. Severe weather. Nope. Sorry. Wrong thing. Weather alerts. Storm-based. Yeah, no tornado watch issued so far. Only this tornado warning in Jones County. I can check a few other things. I'm going to move over to the sky cam in Laurel once again so you can see what's going on. It's just rainy in Laurel right now. That's all we see on this sky cam. Right now, the more broad area of rotation is crossing over Sand Hill right now. I know you can't see the radar right now. One area of rotation moving over Sand Hill, one moving over Big Creek, and the other one moving over, moving near Moselle, I'll say. Yeah. So that's where those areas of rotation sit. I know you can't see it, but I'm not too worried about it as of right now. That's why I'm not really showing it on the screen. We do have the flood watch issued right now. We have a big flooding risk today that I haven't been able to post about because we've been live. But just know that there is a flood risk. Turn around, don't drown today. But this tornado warning is what we're dealing with right now. So, I'm going to check something real quick. I want to see if the Storm Prediction Center has issued a mesoscale discussion. And what a mesoscale discussion does is it gives me data about the atmosphere. Let's see. I'm expecting a tornado watch to get issued tonight. Yeah, we have a mesoscale discussion. Let's see what the... we're going to quickly look real quick at what the SPC says about this. So this is the mesoscale discussion they issued a few minutes ago. Severe potential watch. They're not going to issue a severe thunderstorm watch this morning. It looks like they might issue one later tonight or later this afternoon. The most probable intensity they're saying for a tornado is 95 mile an hour tornado, which is like an EF1. So we're looking at more of a weaker tornado threat right now. But this was just them talking about this risk. You could see winds in excess of 55 to 70 miles an hour. The tornado risk is there. We knew that, but it's more on the weaker end of a tornado risk. So that's what I wanted to look at real quick. Actually, you can't even see it. Sorry. Can't even see it. Sorry. I don't have a producer. I am my own producer. This is the mesoscale discussion. I'm sorry. This is what you weren't able to see. Storm Prediction Center has said that there's probably not issuing a severe thunderstorm watch, which makes sense. But right now, the most probable intensity for wind is 55 to 70 miles an hour with this storm, and possibly an EF1 tornado is probably your most probable peak intensity for a tornado right now. Sorry that you couldn't see that. I kind of forgot to fix that. My bad. All right. So we'll go back to the radar now. So your area of rotation, you had this one over Sand Hill that's kind of broadened out. You have this other one now that's south of Moselle now. This new area of rotation has popped up. It's so difficult to know just where in this line these rotations are going to spin up. I'm going to change the camera over to Laurel one more time. Look at how it's just coming a flood in Laurel right now. Lots of rain in Laurel, Mississippi right now. We still have this tornado warning. No dominant area of rotation as of right now. However, you have another area of rotation crossing Highway 84 right now. You have that area of rotation crossing Sand Hill, and then you now have an area of rotation basically over Moselle right now. If you ever hear me blabbering on about something and it's not on the screen, I'm sorry about that. I'll realize it in like 30 seconds later. So, sorry about that. So let's give a timing on this one more time. This is a bigger line, so I'm going to switch this over real quick to be a linear storm path. See if I can figure out how to use this. Oh, okay, I see. Let's retry that. I know how to use this now. Let's use this. Come on. Sorry, I'm dealing with some new toys here that I haven't used before, trying to figure it out. There we go. Figured it out. Okay, here we go. So this entire line, I've pointed out this entire line because of where, like, how this system is. There's multiple areas of rotation. What is the timing for this system to get to you? Not that it's a tornado, but what time are you going to be, like, in the worst of the worst? Let's say. Ellisville, 8:28. Soso, 8:37. Laurel, 8:36. Let's keep looking. Tucker's Crossing, 8:36. Antioch, 8:38. Let's look at some of the bigger ones. Hoyt, 8:40. Sandersville, 8:46. Myrick, 8:43. And then as we get closer to Heidelberg would probably be near 9 o'clock. Luckily, that area of rotation that was heading straight for Laurel has broadened out, which is very good. And we like to see that. We would rather see areas of rotation broaden out. Gonna move over to the Laurel camera one more time. I need to focus on speaking a little slower. I'm sorry about that. Figuring that out. There is lightning with this storm, so be careful. Don't get struck by lightning. This is more up towards the Hoy community. There is lightning with this system. Go inside and do not stand outside in a field. Not that it's funny. I'm just literally telling you, be careful with the lightning. It's pretty dangerous. So this area of rotation now, can I click off of this? Thank you. Oh, nope, sorry. So now we have another area of rotation that's more broad that is about to cross over Highway 29 right now, heading towards Service. This would cross over between So-So and Laurel. That's where we're looking at kind of this more area of rotation now that's up here. It's kind of stronger. There was an area farther south that just crossed over Moselle that was rotating just a little bit. But here's the good thing. We look at the correlation coefficient, nothing there. That's what you want to see. You want to see nothing on the correlation coefficient. The issue is if you see something on the correlation coefficient, usually means it's something that's not supposed to be there. So we've been lucky so far. We've been blessed so far to see nothing touchdown in Jones County so far. So if you have any questions regarding today's weather, you can put it in the Facebook. I'll answer it. I like to answer questions, especially whenever we're sitting here playing the waiting game with storms. It can be about later today. It can be like what your risk is later today, where you are. Like it is anything you want the question to be. I'm kind of open to that. It's been a long morning so far. I've been up since 4 o'clock tracking these storms. I've been live since basically 5 o'clock. I got a 5-minute break because I went offline. I didn't think anything was going to happen, and then we got 2 tornadoes on the ground, and I came back live. It happens. Right now, the rain rate in Laurel is roughly an inch an hour. We are seeing major flooding be a factor with this system today and into tomorrow. I'm about to look into this flooding risk. We're about to look into the flooding risk real quick. Here in a little bit, or here in a few seconds, actually. I want to check one more time. Look at the correlation coefficient. We see nothing that stands out on here. We'll look at the velocity right one more time. You have this broad area of circulation crossing over Highway 29 that will eventually cross over Highway 28 here in the next few minutes. That is heading towards Service and towards Spring Hill in Jones County. The next area of rotation is weaker. And give me 1 second, and I'll answer that question. The next area of rotation is between Moselle and Oak Grove in Jones County. Not Oak Grove near Hattiesburg, Oak Grove in Jones County, heading towards Johnson. Hey, Andrew, how's it going? The question is, for later today, are we looking at the same areas in South Mississippi being affected, or will the path be different? I would like to say that we're looking at about the same area. And we've been looking at that for a little while. That's kind of what the models have been showing is for. I'll put it out here. So this circle is basically where we have been expecting severe weather this afternoon into tonight. So it's a little farther south. Maybe increase that a little farther north. And this is where we were expecting the severe weather this afternoon into tonight. However, here's the issue. These storms this morning in the Pine Belt were not expected. We were not expecting to have storms this early in the morning. And so what this may do is this may reduce instability in the atmosphere, so it might make the atmosphere more stable. And so it might make it harder for tornadoes to develop later into today. And it might also make severe thunderstorms weaker. We'll need to watch and see, but it depends on if the atmosphere can recover, on if that risk will remain. If that's true, that means our tornado risk is farther south. It means that it'll be more limited. And that's a good thing for if you're farther north in the Pine Belt, like here in Jones County. I'm not going to rule out the possibility of a tornado in Jones County or in the more northern parts of the Pine Belt. I'm just saying that I think those odds have been reduced with these storms this morning. It's kind of like you take fuel, and then these storms have taken some of the fuel that the storms were going to use tonight. Or, well, this afternoon. However, there's still about 12 hours maybe until those storms were supposed to happen. Maybe 10 hours, 12 hours. And so the atmosphere may be able to recover. We'll have to wait and see. But good question. I really like that question. And the answer is it's complicated. If these storms didn't happen this morning, I would say that, yes, the risk is definitely here in the Pine Belt, in the northern Pine Belt, southern Mississippi area. But now I think the risk might be more limited to the southern Pine Belt and the Gulf Coast, and maybe southwestern Mississippi with the bordering counties. But overall, I would still say if you're anywhere in this pink circle, I would be just on the side of caution tonight, because I think the odds are still there, because I think temperatures will still be good enough. You're welcome. Good question. I liked that question. We'll look at the flooding risk here in just a second. We're actually going to go to the sky cam once again. Here from Laurel. I'm going to pull up the... Well, hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Let me move this out of the way. Sorry. I'm going to pull up the flooding risk. This is one of the biggest things I've been worried about with this event, is the flash flooding risk. And especially now that we've had these morning storms here in South Mississippi, I think there's a big flooding potential here in South Mississippi. And so I'm going to switch this over now. This is the Weather Prediction Center's flash flooding risk, and this goes from a level 2 to from a level 1 to a level 4 over South Mississippi here, spanning from what is this, Macomb to Columbia to Laurel, from Hattiesburg, McGee, and even up towards Meridian. You have a moderate risk for flash flooding across the area today. That's probably not going to happen right now. That's probably going to happen with tonight's storms, where the water's already the ground's already saturated, and then you're piling more water on top of it. So that's probably what we're watching with the flash flooding. That's going to be a big factor today, as well as the tornado potential. They have just dropped the tornado warning, I'm pretty sure. We'll look at that in a second. Most of the rest of Mississippi under a slight risk, which is a level 2 of 4. I forgot to mention the moderate's a level 3 of 4 for flash flooding. And then the rest of the state's under a risk, a 1 of 4 risk for flooding. Let's go back to the rotation. The National Weather Service has dropped the tornado warning, so just know that we have dropped the tornado warning for now. Not that tornado warnings necessarily mean everything. An observed tornado warning definitely does, but a radar indicated tornado warning just means the same thing. Maybe I'm seeing some radar indicated rotation, they're not. That's just sometimes how it works. But we definitely still have some rotation. Now heading into Laurel, basically. This will be moving into Laurel very quickly. We have an area of rotation still over Pleasant Ridge, over Calhoun right now. Another kind of small area over Pindorf. That area over Oak Grove kind of went away. That was to the east of Moselle. Overall, still the same thing we've been talking about for the last several minutes. And luckily, nothing on the correlation coefficient. So I think we're good in Jones County for now. I'll put that sky cam up in the corner above me. I forgot I had that setting for a second. Lots of lightning with this system. This storm has become very energetic. Let's use that word. Potter percussion. That's the new that's the new drum guy at Jones. Thanks for the question, Mr. Potter. I left drumline there before you got there. Anyways, storm's moving into Laurel now. Right now, rainfall rate is right at 1.6 inches per hour in Laurel. So just know, what am I saying? There's a lot of rain that's falling in Laurel right now. Definitely going to see some localized areas of flooding in Laurel. Maybe not with this cell, but maybe later on today. But also, I think that it might actually be one of those situations where, like, we will see roads washed out tonight. That's good. I hope you do great things at Jones. I was on drumline last year at Jones. I was base 2. It's a very fun time. But anyways, good luck. Good luck with Jones and those endeavors. I had fun there. But yes, storms moving into Laurel. Let's focus back on the weather just a little bit. Reminiscing of my junior college days not so long ago. I'm not too impressed with the rotation moving into Laurel anymore. Luckily, I'm going to go ahead and write down like an all clear area for now. This is just for this morning. This is not for this afternoon as well. So if you are behind this line that I just drew, if you're back here, my drawing's amazing, you know. If you're on this side over here, let me make it even better. If you're in this blue area behind the pink line, you are fine. You are good for now. There's nothing to really worry about. However, if you're in front of this line, the odds of a spin up are low. Odds of a spin up tornado, sorry, are low, but not 0 just yet. We'll go back to the Laurel Sky Cam. This area of rotation is about to move right over where this camera is. So that'll tell us a good bit actually. And so that sky cam is actually located about right here where my mouse is. And so this area of rotation is moving right in front of the camera right now. Sometimes that's a little difficult to see, but, you know. So luckily, it's getting to the point where I'm actually feeling confident enough to actually take a break. I've been talking for about 3 hours straight, so my voice is not amazing. But also, I need to have my voice for later. Anyways, if you enjoyed this coverage of Jones County so far, please think to give us a follow. I say us, it's just me. Please think to give us a follow on Facebook. Maybe tell your friends. I'm only a meteorology student so far, but I plan on graduating in a year and a half, so that'll be fun. Maybe I don't know what the plan is. Maybe I don't know. It's been good so far, so thank you for watching so far. I'm not going off air just yet, but I just want to say thank you. I'm just getting those little advertising things in. That's like, hey, follow us, tell your friends about us, whatnot. That's only if you think if you think I did a good job. Still some work to do, but it's coming along pretty decently. I will focus on some posts after I go offline here, or off the air here, I should say. I'll focus on posting about the flooding risk, about the areas where we could see tornadoes this afternoon and tonight. But luckily, this first area is about to be completely out of here and about to not be our problem. It's only 8:30 right now, which is great. I've been up for 4.5 hours already. But yeah, I think that we're looking pretty decent now through Jones County. I'll point out one more time, if you're behind this blue line, so if you're on the other side of Laurel, if you're on the west side of Laurel, you're fine. Honestly, if you're to the west of Interstate 59, you're probably okay. I think everyone is fine for now. I don't see anything right now. The only thing I could ever think that might come out of nowhere would be like an area of rotation here in Ellisville, but I still don't see it. You can never rule out a bunch of stuff, but I mean, it's not looking that great in terms of rotation developing, which is good. We don't want to see tornadoes through our area. That would not be great. But yeah, the sky cam here in Laurel, wow, it is coming a flood outside right now. You can barely see. Right now, the rainfall rate is 2.5 inches per hour. That's a lot of rain coming down very, very fast. I can't tell the total rainfall so far. The nearest strike is 2 miles away, so it is lightning in Laurel. Um, but overall, a lot of rain being dropped, a lot of water being put on the ground. And that is only for right now. Remember, there will be more rain later. So remember, be careful. Roads will probably, there's a chance for roads to get washed out. There is a chance for flooding, especially if you're in a low-lying area. And so, just remember that. I know I keep repeating the same things, but it needs to be said. This is the type of event where flooding is a problem. Like, I'm more worried about flooding than any other risk with this event. We might get a few more tornadoes with this event, but I don't think it'll outdo the flooding potential that this system has. And especially now that these storms fired up in South Mississippi, I think that we'll see maybe rain totals of maybe 5 inches or above in some areas of South Mississippi. And so this rain is great for us. Don't get me wrong. I know we really need the rain. But sometimes, too much rain in a given amount of time is pretty bad. But anyways, if a quick spin up tornado comes up, I probably won't go back live for right now. I'll probably give myself an hour or so. I don't see the odds of a tornado. I don't see a tornado touching down anytime soon. For the next little bit. Maybe a tornado warning gets issued. Maybe I disagree with it. Who knows? But I think our odds of seeing a tornado touch the ground now are gone in Jones County. Just look out for flooding, look out for lightning. Stay safe, guys. I will be posting updates throughout the afternoon and getting ready for the event tonight. And I do plan on being live tonight on Facebook and on Facebook and YouTube. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to follow, and make sure to share. And thank you all for watching. It means a lot to me.